Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. My time is showing 4:30, so I'd like to get started. Welcome to today's webinar. Today we are talking about how to create an accessible online learning environment within Brightspace. So just to introduce myself, my name is Anita Joshi, and I'm a success coach here at D2L. Prior to joining the D2L family, I was a preschool owner and operator. And prior to that, I was in the classroom for about 7 years. And I also have some experience with education technology sales, as well as training. I have included my Twitter handle here. If you'd like to give me a follow, I do post tips and tricks on Brightspace as well as upcoming webinars. So if you'd like to get some information, feel free to give me a follow. Just some housekeeping items to start. You'll notice that the Q&A and the chat are disabled for today. I am on my own for this webinar and we have quite a bit to get through, so I won't be able to answer any questions in the chat. However, if you do have any questions, please feel free to contact our success coach at d2l.com. That's our email address, and someone will be happy to get back to you with any questions that you may have. Also, the recording and the slide deck will be available on the teaching and learning website for your reference. So please feel free to visit that. Now you'll notice that these links are not live at the moment. They will be live once you get your slide deck after this webinar. So feel free to check that out. And there's also going to be a lot of resources available with this slide deck. So you'll be able to click on all the links available in the slide deck that you see here that I'm presenting. Okay, so some prior knowledge. This is a more of an intermediate advanced webinar. So prior to this, you hopefully have been able to create some student groups and you understand how to create an assignment as well as a quiz and add content to your classroom. But don't worry, if you're not comfortable with that yet, don't worry, feel free to stick around for this webinar and hopefully you can get some other tips and tricks. Also, all of these are also hyperlinked. So once you get the slide deck, if you're interested in learning how to do any of these things, you can take a look at the videos attached. Now on the agenda for today, we're going to go through some learning objectives. We're going to talk about inclusivity in Brightspace. We're going to talk about differentiating within Brightspace. And then I'll be giving a little live demo on 3 tools that we feel are really helpful when creating an accessible classroom: special access, release conditions, and intelligent agents. And lastly, I will leave you with some resources and next steps. So some learning objectives. By the end of this webinar, you will be able to provide students with special access when necessary, set material to be automatically released to students when needed, and use intelligent agents to keep students on track. So here at D2L, we're very passionate, obviously, about education, and we really want to make sure that education is inclusive and accessible for all. So the ways we do this are, we've built Brightspace with something called responsive design. And what that means is it looks the same on all devices to allow for seamless interactivity. Also within Brightspace, and we're going to be talking about this a little bit more in depth today, you do have the ability to assign special access as well as accommodations. And that just allows for students to access content based on their specific needs. We also have an accessibility checker, which is really great for teachers to ensure that they create accessible HTML content, as well as online auto-generated closed caption for the videos. So when you're creating videos within Brightspace, you have the option to add closed captions. And that's really just great for all students, not just those with special needs. And those are available to you. Now, how we enable. So the entire platform is tested against WCAG, which stands for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines Standards. So we do test our platform against that and make sure that we are abiding to those standards. And we also have a dedicated internal team here at D2L that they're individuals who actually use assistive technology, so we can ensure that we are creating a platform that is accessible. So some of the reasons why we at D2L enable is because we feel that education can really be life transforming, and we want to be able to reach every learner regardless of differences. And ultimately, our ultimate goal is to be able to transform the way the world learns. So that's important to us. Now, which students do we consider when discussing accessibility? We really believe inclusive design is really for every student, based on any types of differences they have. They could have differences in ability by senses, they may need more time, the culture of the individual is impacted by differences, there are differences in cognitive ability, also security, privacy, and personal information. So we believe that when you can design your lessons with inclusivity in mind, it really helps every student in your class. And how can you differentiate in Brightspace? So you can provide instructions and feedback in a variety of formats, providing extra time or attempts on assignments, creating custom learning paths for students of all abilities, send automated communication to students, create learning groups of students by shared interest, topic, or ability for assignments, and reinforce students' achievements using awards. So quite a few of these we are going to go through in today's webinar. And so 3 tools to know. So today we're going to be going through special access, release conditions, and intelligent agents. So special access is the ability to assign assessment activities to specific students or allow extra time or attempts to complete the assignment. And it can be found in assignments and quizzes. And this will all make a little bit more sense when I go into the live demo portion of the webinar. Release conditions give you the ability to create customized learning paths by specifying criteria to be achieved in order to unlock something else. So you can have students have content unlocked after they've perhaps visited another piece of content. So again, you'll get a better sense of that. And those can be found almost anywhere within Brightspace. And the last tool we're going to go through are intelligent agents. So you're able to send automated emails to help students keep on track in your course or to provide additional support. And those are sent based on set release conditions or course access. So what is special access? So instructors can assign assessments to specific learners or groups or exempt them. It allows students to be able to have extra time or extra attempts on assessments. And currently this feature can be found within the assignments or quizzes tool. And what is an intelligent agent? So intelligent agents monitor course-based activity on the criteria that you've set. So based on the selected criteria, you can send emails to your students to promote improved engagement. And intelligent agents incorporate the same release conditions and criteria found throughout Brightspace, and they have 2 unique sets of conditions. So there's login activity or course activity. The login activity you can set your intelligent agent to activate if users haven't logged into the system for a prescribed period of time. And the course activity the intelligent agent will activate if the users haven't accessed a course for a prescribed period of time. And why would educators want to use intelligent agents? They're extremely helpful and useful, and it can really help save educators time while preventing students from slipping through the cracks. So as you allow yourself to prepare, you can allow yourself to prepare automated emails that will be sent only if certain conditions are or are not met. So for example, you can reach out with a check-in message to any students who haven't logged in to your course within a certain number of days. You can provide additional support and resources to any students who receive a score below a certain amount on an assessment. They can allow you to send a reminder to students who have not completed something. as well as acknowledge that something has been completed. And then a release condition allows educators to create a custom learning path through the materials in their course. So when you attach a release condition to an item, students can't see that item until they have met the associated condition, and it's up to you to decide what that condition is. So for example, you could attach a release condition to the second topic in your course's content, and it would hide that topic until the student has viewed the topic before it. Or another example is you could create a condition that requires students to view a content topic before gaining access to a quiz, or one that requires them to post discussion before they can see a content module. So the possibilities for release conditions are quite endless, and they're really customizable for you. And the tools that support, here's a list of the tools that support release conditions. And if you'd like to learn more about release conditions, you can click on this link once you get the slide deck. And if you're curious about best practices for release conditions, here's also a link that you can get some more information about that. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to exit my slideshow and go into our learning environment. So this is my course that I have set up, and first we're going to talk about special access. So again, that is when you want to provide different groups of students access to different assignments. Again, it's a great tool to use when you need to be discreet. So we don't want students to feel a certain way. So this is a really great way, rather than in the class when you hand out assignments, students can see that certain students are getting different assignments. In this way is very discreet because students don't know who has access to what assignments. So I'm going to go into my assessments folder here in the nav bar, and I'm going to go to the assignments tool. And you'll see here, I have already an assignment made here, final essay assignment, and this is for my university stream of students. I have 2 streams in my class, and this I have created for my university stream. Now, I want to create a similar assignment for my college stream. So I have 2 options. I could go up to the top and create a brand new assignment, or in this case, I'm making small adjustments. So I'm just going to modify the one here. So in order to do that, I'm going to make a copy. So I'm just going to click on this little chevron, which will bring up a menu here, and I'm going to copy this assignment. So it brings me into editing it. And so this one is going to be for my college stream. So I'm going to just modify the name of this assignment. And I chose college and university as an example because those are 2 things that the students in my class already know who's a part of which group. So this one doesn't have to be discrete. So I don't have to name it in a discrete way. So that's why I decided to do this one for college. And for my college students, I'm going to just change my instructions here for choose 2 essay questions. I'm going to just have my college students choose 1 essay question to respond to. Okay, so I modified my assignment, and now I'm going to go into the right-hand side where we see availability dates and conditions. So I'm going to click on this arrow to open it up. And down here at the bottom, special access. That's where I'm going to access my special access tool. So I'm going to go to manage special access. And here I have 2 options. I'm going to choose the one that says allow only users with special access to see this folder. That's the one I want. So I'm going to click on that little bubble there. And now here's where I'm going to choose the students who are going to access the college assignment. So I'm going to click into there and it'll bring up my users. So I'm going to choose these 3 users to access the college assignment, and I'm going to hit save. And you'll see here, these are the 3 students. If I make a mistake, you do have the option to go through and delete the ones there. I'm going to save and close. And you'll see here, I get confirmation, 3 users with special access. That's what I want. And I'm going to save and close. So you'll see I have my final essay assignment here for university. I have already assigned the students to the college one. I'm just going to go in and edit my assignment and now assign my university one. So again, going into the side here, special access. I'm going to allow only users with special access to see this folder. Here's where I go through, add my users. So the top 3 students were the ones who have the college assignment, and then these are my students who have the university one. I'm going to hit save, double check, those are the students I wanted in there, and save and close. So again, I have my confirmation here, three users with special access to this assignment, save and close. Now, one thing to call out here is you do have to make sure that this is visible to your students. So I'm just going to click on the chevron and make visible to users. So now you can see here, if I toggle over top of this key icon, it says special access is required. So now I have my specific students who I want to be able to have this assignment, the university stream students, and then my college stream students will see that assignment. Okay, and again, you can add a new assignment and assign it special access as well. But if you're just making small modifications, I would suggest to copy your assignment just to make it a little bit easier. Okay, now we're going to go into release conditions. Oh, actually, I wanted to touch on one thing. Another way to add accommodations is from your class list. I almost forgot that. So in your class list, if you click on your class list from your nav bar, you'll see I have my class list here. Now, this is a way to attach special access to a specific student. So this is really useful in an instance where perhaps a student's on an IEP and they may always require additional time. So you can set that student and it will stay with them. So the way to do that is to click on the chevron and you're going to go to edit accommodations. And this is where, say, for example, for quizzes, you can change the timing, you can modify their time limit. You have the option to give them a multiplier of the original quiz time, so say 1.5 times, or you can just give them extra time. So if I wanted to do that, I can click in, I can give Winnie, say, an extra 30 minutes, and I can save. And you'll see here, an icon appears next to Winnie's name, and that means the user has accommodations. So those are 2 great ways to offer special access to specific students for an assignment or attach accommodations to a specific student. Okay, now let's talk about release conditions. I'm going to go back into my main area. Now, release conditions, for the example for today, I'm going to show you how to attach release conditions to content. So I'm going to press into the content from my nav bar. And here's my content. And what I want to happen for my students is I want them to partake in this piece of content and then have this one available. So I'm going to click on the piece of content that I want to set the release condition for, which would be my second piece of content. So I'm going to click on it. And then in the right-hand corner, you see here, there are 3 ellipses. So in this area, you have some options. I'm going to go into view release conditions. Now I am going to create one. Once you create them, you can go into browse and choose ones that perhaps you use commonly, but I'm going to create one for this. So the condition type, you have a lot to choose from. You could choose that when students submit an assignment, they get new content released. You could have an award that's released once they finish something. But as I said, I'm going to have it that when they visit a content topic, they get this piece of content. So I am going to make sure that they access this content before getting the second piece. And I'm going to hit create. Now you can layer your release conditions. So you could have a list here of a few different ones. And then you have some options where you can choose that all conditions need to be met or any conditions need to be met. Okay, and now I'm going to hit save. And you'll see here, I have an icon next to my release or next to my content, and it says only visible if the conditions are met. So that's important. And also you need to make sure that it's not hidden because then the conditions will become inactive. So you want to make sure that it is visible, but it's only visible if the conditions are met. And if you want to know what conditions those are, you can click into here. Now I wanted to make sure that you understand the difference between special access and release conditions. So special access is attached to the student, whereas release conditions are attached to content. So that's just an important piece to remember. And lastly, we're going to talk about intelligent agents. So intelligent agents they automatically scan the learning environment for user-defined criteria. And if criteria are fulfilled, the intelligent agent sends an email to predefined addresses to alert them. And this can be accomplished by using the email address in question or by utilizing replace strings. So let's go into our intelligent agents. I'm going to go into course admin up in my nav bar. And your page might look different here. You can have it set up two different ways where you view the tools by category or by name. So by category, they are in the communication area, and by name, they are just alphabetical. So I'm going to go into intelligent agents, and I'm going to create a new one. So I just have some pre-typed out content here, so bear with me. So this one is going to be, this intelligent agent is going to be in regards to login information. And I'm going to put a little description in here. Just copying my from my toolbar. So this intelligent agent is going to check for users who have not logged in within a specific number of days. Now, just scrolling down, you want to make sure that your intelligent agent is enabled. And then you have to set the criteria for this intelligent agent. So you could either have all users visible in the class list, or you can have it choose that users with specific roles are targeted for this intelligent agent. So we're going to leave it as all users. And then we're going to, this one is specifically login activity. So we're going to check that box. And I would like to set it for 5 days. So if a user has not logged in within 5 days, the intelligent agent will be activated. Now you have to choose the action you want to happen after that has been activated. So I would like to send an email once a student has not logged into the course for 5 days. And here's, if you haven't checked about replace strings, I'd suggest you take a look at them. They're just a really great way to save some time. And so I'm going to put in initiating user. And the way I know it's a replace string is because it's got a little curly bracket there. I'm not sure if you can see it. So an email is going to be sent to the initiating user. And I'm just going to put in some content about with my subject and my message. So my subject is going to be, they're going to get an email that says upcoming activities and assessment. And the email is going to say this. And again, I use replace strings there just to make it a little more personal. So it's been a while since you logged into the course. Please take some time to ensure you're up to date on the latest course content, as well as review assessment deadlines. So that's the email that my student would get. I'm just going to scroll down. Now I can schedule it. So I am going to use a schedule for this intelligent agent. I'm going to update this schedule. And I do want this to run daily, every single day. So I want it to be scanned every single day from the course, during the length of the course. So I'm going to change my end date, just scroll through to the end of June. That's when my course ends. And I'm going to hit update. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick check. That's my email that's going to go out. And I used a schedule. And now I'm going to save and close. So you'll see here in my agent list, I have my login information, one that we just created, and this is exactly what it does. And as you create more and more, you will get a longer list of that. So a couple of use cases, intelligent agents are a really great way to build engagement. It can be especially difficult for special needs learners, and often that little nudge helps keep learners on track. And then teachers can use the report and choose how they want to respond by email or phone call, etc., depending on the student's needs. Okay, so I'm going to hop back into my slideshow. And so today we learned how to provide students with special access when necessary. We learned how to set materials to be automatically released to students when needed, as well as how to use intelligent agents to keep students on track. Just for your knowledge, this was the last webinar in April, and tomorrow we have open office hours. So myself, along with a number of my other colleagues, will be there. So feel free to come. You can register on the Teaching and Learning website, and feel free to come and ask any questions that you have about any of the webinars, or just even general questions. We'll be happy to answer them. And then for our May webinar calendar, this is what we've got going on in May. And we have a new format. So the webinars are still going to be 30 minutes in length, but we are going to include a question and answer period within that 30 minutes. So if there are any questions you have related to the webinars, feel free to ask the questions. And then I am going to leave you with some resources. These are all really great links that I encourage you to check out once you get your slide deck. There's also some video resources here. And if you're looking for more tool training and the mechanics of sort of how the tools work, I encourage you to check out the Brightspace guided training community page. So it's a really great place to check out for self-guided content, as well as videos and other types of webinars. Really great for learning the ins and outs of the tools. And I wanted to just thank you so much for your time today. I hope you learned about accessibility, and I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.